Good morning. Myself, Dr. Shilpa Patil Bhonde. Today, I would like to discuss about mix and match pedagogy. Basically, what is this idea? Idea behind this mix and match is instead of using one innovative pedagogy, we can use multiple innovative pedagogies for designing a unit or topic. And that's why the name mix and match means we have to check, we have to decide with respect to with reference to topic or with reference to unit, we can decide, we can plan out that which different innovative pedagogies we can use. So of course this will vary from topic to topic, this will vary from unit to unit. There are multiple innovative pedagogies like gamification, flipped classroom, experiential learning, project-based learning, collaborative learning. So instead of using any one, we can mix them according to the requirement of unit, according to the requirement of topic, and we can design that lesson. So here I have taken example of topic photosynthesis. So this photosynthesis chapter or this photosynthesis topic, here we can start with context. So at the beginning, we have to create a context or we have to start with context. Then we can go for the poll. Then we will take activity. Then we can take collaborative learning experimentation. Then we can show simulations. Then we can show some videos. Then here I have written dark reaction, that is Kelvin cycle and HSK pathway. For this, I have created some poetic forms. And then we can go for the significance. And at the end, what could be the values? What could be the takeaway from this chapter? Means not only learning biochemical reactions of photosynthesis, but how can we relate this topic with life? What are the values which we can learn from this topic? So in this way, if we will design, means this is my idea, and I'm implementing this in my classroom. So in this way, if we will design every unit or every topic, then students will enjoy that. And learning will be really with targeted outcome. So let's start with that. Context. So what could be the context or how can we create context for this chapter? So for creating context, teacher can ask students to list out the food items which they like or which they commonly eat. So probably students will like pizza, pasta, ice cream, vada pav, chaat items, Chinese food, non-vegetarian food like chicken, mutton, biryani, cheese paratha, sandwiches, fish fry. So they can write anything, whatever they like. So after this list, teacher will ask students to list out ingredients of the food items which they like. So if a particular student is writing vada pav, so what could be the ingredients? So of course it will be potato, chili, garlic, gram flour, oil, wheat for preparation of bread. If child writes chicken biryani, then what are the ingredients? Like chicken, rice, oil, onion, spices. If it is ice cream, then sugar, milk flavors. Fish fry, then obviously fish. Then for binding rice flour or some other binding material, oil, spices. After this, teacher will ask to divide these ingredients in two columns. The first one is plant origin and another one is the animal origin. So students will keep on listing or keep on differentiating the ingredients into plant origin and animal origin. And after, at the end of this activity, they will realize that whatever food they like, whichever is their favorite food. But majority of the ingredients of that food material, they are plant origin. Plants are preparing those materials. So we can conclude, as a teacher, we can conclude that plants prepare food and humans process that food. Of course, this processing is necessary for digestion, and ultimately we increase taste of food. But the major source for food is plants. Major source, plants are preparing food, and that's why we can process it. We can have it as our energy material. After that, teacher can take poll. This poll can be taken on one of the sites I'm suggesting over here, that is mentimeter.com. There are many such sites, but on Mentimeter we can log in, we can create account, we can log in and we can use it. So teacher can give a poll. So this poll can be used for testing previous knowledge, as we have to develop entire chapter, as we have to continue with the entire topic. So before that, we should test. We could test our previous knowledge of our students by using this mentimeter.com. As well, this poll system can be used for post assessment. Means after completing entire topic, we can use it for assessment. Then teacher can give activity. The chapter starts with the reaction of photosynthesis. So carbon dioxide and water molecule, these are the reactants, and products are glucose and oxygen. So here in this reaction, oxygen is released as a gas, means in presence of light and chloroplast. Plants are preparing food in the form of glucose and releasing oxygen as a gas. So how to check it or how to study? For this, teacher will give a simple activity that plants are releasing oxygen. For that, these materials are needed, like green leaf, clear glass, water, and sunlight. So this activity students can do in their laboratory as well as they can do it at home. For that, any bowl or any glass is necessary, from which they can see the inner material, means the leaf they are putting inside. Here you can see this is performed by my students. This is bowl, and in that bowl they have kept leaf for 2 to 3 hours. Initially there were no bubbles, but after 2 to 3 hours they could see these bubbles. These bubbles are nothing but the oxygen released at the time of photosynthesis. Or photosynthesis must be taking place into this leaf with the help of chlorophyll pigment and light, carbon dioxide and water. So oxygen is released, and that oxygen is appearing on the surface of leaf in the form of bubbles. We will move to next slide. Next activity will be collaborative learning experimentation. Now, before starting with the actual, because this photosynthesis, the main units, main topics are light reaction and dark reaction. And by combining these two, or how are they interdependent, and by combining these two, how glucose is produced, that we have to relate and we have to give the significance. So before that, because in dark reaction, we explain students that carbon dioxide is taken inside. So how this carbon dioxide comes inside, or oxygen is released during light reaction. So this released and this oxygen is given out. But what is actually entry and exit? What is actually a entry point for carbon dioxide and what is actually a exit point for oxygen? So they are nothing but the stomata. So we can take this experiment of study of stomata and structure of these stomata. For this we need laboratory, we need microscope. Laboratory setup will be needed because generally students don't have microscope at their home. So for this experimentation, we need laboratory. So here we can produce sample leaves, that is hibiscus or betel leaf. We can ask students to take out peel of upper surface, adaxial surface and abaxial surface, and we can ask them to study the structure of stomata. What are stomata? How are they uh, arranged on the surface of leaves? What is number of stomata on upper surface? What is number of stomata on lower surface? They can count and they can see, like on upper surface less number of stomata as compared to the lower surface. So here we can conclude that less number of stomata are present on upper surface so as to minimize the rate of transpiration. So accordingly, uh, this activity can be done. Means in this activity or in this experimentation, we can make group of 2 to 3 students, and work distribution will be there, and they will do it. That some students will do the work of mounting, some students will do the work of taking peel, then some can do the counting. Okay, this will be the time saving, because of course this experiment can done individually, can be done individually, but as we have to save time with reference to this lesson, with reference to this topic, we can give this activity in group. We will move to next slide. Then we have to start with light reaction and dark reaction. So what are the necessary components? What are the necessary factors for reaction of photosynthesis? So here we can go for the simulation. Actually, this simulation, so in this simulation, there are multiple options. We can use graph, or we can use both graph as well as experimental setup. Then graph 2. Then we can speed up this, we can slow down it. Okay. So we will use both part and we will play. So here students can see from plant, oxygen is releasing as a gas. Water is here where carbon dioxide is dissolved, and this is a source of light. Plant material, it is a source of chloroplast, which will take water, which will take light, and by using chloroplast, it will prepare food in the form of glucose, and oxygen will be released as a gas. So is one way. We can pause it. So here in experiment 1, we can change the amount of light. And in experiment 2, we can change amount of carbon dioxide. Now here we have to wait for a minute because to obtain data, we have to wait for that. So here we can see there is a graphical representation and it is changing. It is going up. So here there is a box, data collected after 60 seconds at intensity of light is equal to 1 and the carbon dioxide is 0.05%. So this, with the help of this simulation, students can understand like how factors are controlling reaction of photosynthesis, how factors are affecting reaction of photosynthesis. So this is only graph, this we have seen. There is one more simulation, but this simulation students can use this only for 5 minutes. This is also very interesting simulation. Same, which factors are controlling reaction of photosynthesis. So here timer comes. So here description is there, then there could be table, then bar chart and graph. So whichever they want, they can. This is white and this is with color. So this is actually much more interesting. Here we can change temperature, we can change light intensity, we can change CO2 level, and accordingly we can record data like intensity, carbon dioxide, wavelength, temperature. Record data. So here we got data. What is intensity, temperature, carbon dioxide, color, and O2 released. This could be seen in the form of bar graph. This could be seen in the form of description. This could be in the form of graph. Students really love to use these simulations because especially at the time of online teaching, because where we means in online teaching we cannot take them to the labs. So these virtual labs or these simulations found to be very, very helpful. Next slide. Now this is link for YouTube video which explains light reaction, how light reaction takes place. So this is enough detailed video to understand how light reaction takes place. I will move to next slide. So entire light reaction can be explained with the help of video. Teacher can use blackboard for light reaction like cyclic photophosphorylation, non-cyclic photophosphorylation. So there could be combination of video, combination of chalkboard method, and in that way light reaction can be taught in the class. Then while moving to the dark reaction in 12th standard syllabus, there are three pathways for dark reaction, three different pathways like C3, C4 and CAM pathway. So for teaching the C3 and C4 pathway, I have converted these pathways into poetic form because students really find these reactions very, very difficult to remember, to understand, and they lose interest from these topics. So as to retain that interest, and students should feel that at least by studying little more, we can remember this and we can produce something in exam. So I have converted this cyclic form into a poem. I'm saying that poem. Here, according to the reactions, numbers are given 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So number 1 is the reactant for which product is reaction number 2. When this reaction number 2 becomes reactant, its product is number 3. When number 3 become reactant, its product is number 4, and so on. As well, there is one box where I have mentioned 1, 4 is phosphorylation, 2 is carboxylation, 3 is hydrolysis, 5 is dephosphorylation reduction. Means reaction number 1 and 4, phosphorylation is taking place. For reaction number 2, carboxylation is taking place. For reaction number 3, hydrolysis is taking place. And for reaction number 5, dephosphorylation and reduction is taking place. So, okay, I will say poetic form. RUMP, RUDP, RUDP, carboxylase, additive 6, carbon compound, 3, phosphoglyceric acid, 1, 3, diphosphoglyceric acid, 3, phosphoglyceraldehyde, 1 is hexo sugar remaining, erythrose, sedivectulose, 1, 4, phosphorylation, 2 is carboxylation, 3 is hydrolysis, 5 is dephosphorylation reduction. So after learning this poetic form, students will remember all the compounds, and while writing, they can use this box. For reaction number 1, they will write RUMP, and here it is phosphorylation, that is ribulose monophosphate will undergo phosphorylation, that is addition of phosphate group, and there is a synthesis of ribulose diphosphate, RUDP. Then for reaction number 2, carboxylation. So students can write RUDP or RUBP, ribulose diphosphate. It was monophosphate. As phosphate group was added, it has become diphosphate or biphosphate in presence of enzyme RUDP carboxylase. And here carbon dioxide is entering inside. So this entry of carbon dioxide is occurring through stomata. So RUDP undergo carboxylation, that is addition of carbon dioxide in presence of RUDP carboxylase, formation of a product, that is additive 6 carbon compound. So in this manner, students will develop their answer, or I could say students will remember this answer, and they can perform well in exam. Not only in exam, but they will remember this reactants and products and their chain, which will be useful for their further studies also. Then this is C4 pathway. I will say poetic form for this. Mesophyll, bundle sheath, pyruvic acid, PEP, CO2 enters through stomata, PEP carboxylase, oxaloacetic acid, which is first stable compound. It get converted to C4 acid, malic acid, aspartic acid, C4 acid enters in bundle sheath and gets split up into CO2. Pyruvic acid, CO2 enters Kelvin cycle, pyruvic acid in mesophyll. 1 is phosphorylation, 2 is carboxylation, 4 undergo reduction, 5 is decarboxylation. That completes C4 pathway, that completes HSK pathway. So by this also, as numbers are given like 1, 2, 3, 4, so 1 will be the reactant, 2 will be the product. When 2 will become reactant, 3 will be product, and accordingly. So reaction number 1 is phosphorylation. So pyruvic acid will undergo phosphorylation, that is addition of phosphate group by using ATP molecules. ATP will get converted to ADP, and phosphate group will be added to the PEP, that is phosphoenol pyruvic acid. Then this PEP, that is reaction number 2, is again carboxylation. So CO2 will enter through stomata and combine with PEP in presence of enzyme PEP carboxylase and formation of oxaloacetic acid. And so on, this cyclic pathway or C4 pathway will take place. So by using this different pedagogies, or you can say by videos, by simulations, by activity, by poetic forms, we can teach light reaction as well as dark reaction. And at the end, we will come to the significance. So after significance, we can show this video. This is motivational video. Of course, this is a motivational video, but from this, we can give message of motivation as well as students will understand that from one plant, when it produces flowers and flowers to fruits and fruits to seeds. So from one plant, multiple plants are produced. So we can show this video to the students. Actually, in this video, it is shown that this flower or this plant want water and it could not get it. So it start working hard, it start walking, and it start forwarding towards water. But as it is so hot, at the end, means before reaching to the water, it couldn't survive. But when it fell down, that time seeds from that flower get dispersed and they fall into the region where there is availability of water, and the seeds, they germinate by taking water, they germinate and they grow into new multiple plants. So of course there is a motivational, or there is a message that you should not stop, rather you never stop, you keep working. But this video works in dual purpose. We can give a message as well as we can explain them how plants multiply. Then for assessment, as I told, we can use Mentimeter, we can use poll, but along with that, one additional technique we can use, that we can use memes. Because whenever there is a message of exam, student find it little difficult, or you can say tension creating, stress creating, especially with these topics like photosynthesis. So so as to make that environment, or making thought of exam in, you can say, lighter situation, or if you don't want to create any kind of stress of exam, then we can use such memes. We can give these memes and we can ask students to answer. So here this meme, like, you still don't think that photosynthesis gives off oxygen, he's taking herbal tea. So by giving this meme, we can ask student, comment on given meme. ये मीम देख के आपको क्या लग रहा है? We can ask students, and we can ask students to relate this with the chapter, relate with the topic. Another meme, comment on the given meme. Students can see this meme and a student can comment that what is actually photosynthesis and what is green color and what is major function of that. In this meme, a boy is asking girl that photosynthesis and cellular respiration are opposite. He means, as she is telling that boy, and that boy is replying that you mean to say that photosynthesis and cellular respiration are opposite, is it? So we can give this meme and we can ask students, relate this, explain this meme. So this will be little stress relieving for examination. Yeah. Finally, we will reach to what are the takeaways from this chapter. How can we relate this chapter with life? What are the moral values? And as I say, takeaway, we can relate this with career perspective, because future will have great demand for green collar jobs, and these green collar jobs are really necessary for restoration of planet. So we can say, we can inform students, we can create awareness about green collar jobs. What are green collar jobs? Which courses you should take for these green collar jobs? What will be the packages? How long it will go? Because green collar jobs will surely go for next 50 to 80 years. That time will be necessary, that time will be needed for restoration of this planet. Then another thing, for food, we have to go for agriculture. So at the end of this topic, we should convey this message that simply by means if you will use laptops and everyone want to do or everyone want to work with the IT field, then who will give us food? By pressing keyboard buttons, we are not going to get any kind of food. So for that, we have to go for agriculture. We have to work hard in our agricultural lands. So this message we have to convey to the students. Then what could be the moral values? Like independence. Plants are preparing their food. They are not at all depending on any organism for their food. So the value of independence we can convey. Accuracy. We have to be accurate in our decisions, in our thoughts, because from this chapter we can see that all biochemical reactions are occurring in a stepwise manner so as to get a desired product. So there is a highest accuracy. Then there is a teamwork. As I told, that light and dark reaction, they are working together, they are interdependent. Only one reaction cannot prepare food. Only light reaction cannot prepare food. Only dark reaction cannot prepare food. They have to work collaboratively. They have to work as a team. So here we can give the morale of teamwork. So in this way, we can we can design this chapter with multiple angles, with multiple aspects. And of course, students will find it interesting. These photosynthesis, respiration chapters, these topics, they are very, very difficult. Students found them very, very difficult, and students lose their interest. Of course, this extraordinary students, they can manage with this, but average students, below average students, they cannot manage with this. So we can make these chapters interesting, and students, even this is my experience, students like these chapters if we teach these topics or these chapters in this manner. Thank you.